In this video, we will be reviewing the AI Gen XII EA by Mr. Denis Kurnev. Stick around till the end to see if this is a legitimate expert advisor or just another MQL5 scam. We can start off here on the sales page and go through what Mr. Kurnev is telling us. So, the big selling point behind this expert advisor is that it's running on ChatGPT's latest model, and that supposedly it's a very, very high-tech expert advisor. Supposedly it also uses discrete Fourier visualization, okay, and it seems to be throwing a bunch of very complex terms around, but I'm not quite sure what actual entry signal it's using yet, so let's keep scrolling through. So here it claims that it's not using any sort of parasitic strategies, so I would assume that refers to grid martingale systems or very high-risk systems. It trades on gold on the M30 time frame, and it says it's also suitable for prop firms. Ultimately, this sales page is not giving away a ton of information, but we can see that it's definitely selling well. At 115 purchases per month with approximately 1.2 grand per copy. If we assume an average price of 1,000, as they've likely raised prices, that's 115,000 US dollars in the past month, which is not an insignificant amount of money. So let's read through both the advisor development page and how to set up the advisor, just to get some more insights here. Apparently, we do not yet know the exact strategy. However, the only indication we have is that it's using some form of ChatGPT. We can scroll through here on the signal page and see that there are a few months showing, and to date the returns have been very good. We are seeing some characteristics of a martingale system here, with the equity line dipping below the balance, but there isn't a tremendous amount of trade, so it's a bit harder to see. Let's go and look at the trading history to see if we have any other indications of the strategy. We are seeing that there are times where there is a very significant increase in lot size. Okay, this is a bit suspicious. So here we can see that it was about to take a losing trade, and then it miraculously had a significantly larger winning trade open to recover the previous one. So this one was opened on July 29th, and this one was open on the 30th, and this was 5 times the size. So we're seeing with the signal here, the advisor or the seller knew that there was going to be a loss, so they correspondingly opened another trade. So there is a recovery mechanism here. So it doesn't appear, it might not be quite a grid martingale system, but it seems like anytime there's about to be a loser, they could be opening a very large lot size to recover it. Let's flip through a bit further to see if there's any other indication. Yes, here as well, right? So we can see that every time that they're about to take a loss, they open a significantly larger position to cover it, and that's how we end up with such a nice equity curve. So they are using a degree of a recovery factor, and if you combine this with multiple different signals, there's always the likelihood that they're doing the good old MT5 strategy of run a plethora of signals, several signals, all with extremely high risk, using recovery mechanisms as we saw, and as a signal blows, simply take it down and put up another signal. So it's too early to be conclusive, but there's a good chance that this is happening. And what often happens is they're essentially selling you an EA that has no edge, and the only way to make the appearance of edge is to use these risky techniques. So let's quickly go over to the installation page to see if we get some more details. So here they are asking us to allow access to several more websites in order to run the system. And then here, if we scroll down, it's mentioning that it's using several different GPT strategies. AI aggressivity, that's a very fancy word. And essentially is saying that this enables you to toggle how many trades are allowed to be open at a time. And there's also a prompt firm approach. The key takeaway from this page is supposedly you're meant to allow web requests to a variety of different news filters, world time servers, as well as the OpenAI API. Something that I'm actually going to test is not include any of these and see if the expert advisor is still mentioning that it's using AI. Because in theory, if it is using ChatGPT, if I don't include access to the OpenAI API and I try and run it, it shouldn't work. So that's going to be my test. I'm not going to include any of these and see if it still works. And here, once again, it's just another sales page. And it's almost like generic information on GPTs, and they're comparing it to a variety of large language models, Claude and Gemini. It doesn't appear to be particularly relevant to this. They're talking about Fourier transforms, which, yes, these are common time series methods, and they are helpful for certain trading strategies, but I would be a little bit skeptical that it's being used here. From what I can see so far, they're name dropping a bunch of techniques which are used in trading and quantitative analysis, but by not explaining how exactly they're using it, it is slightly, it does induce skepticism, as it seems a little bit unlikely that they're actually using them as they say they are. So let's quickly pop over to MetaTrader now to see if we can run a backtest. So I took the liberty of actually downloading the expert advisor from the marketplace. As you can see, it references the same things as the sales page. And here we have a bunch of different inputs where we're able to pick some different characteristics of the EA. Something which I really want to test is I specifically am telling it to use the GPT. So use the supposed AI model, saying not advisor only, not filter, but trade assistant. So if it's using AI, this means it really should use it. In terms of actual strategy, it seems to largely only be giving indications on filters here. So when you wanted to trade. So we're really not getting a ton of information. Here, as he suggested, we are going to run it on gold on the M30 timeframe. I will conduct a quick backtest here and then restart the video once it has loaded. Okay, we are now back with the backtest. And as you can see, we have a beautiful equity curve in front of us. This was run from approximately 1 year ago to today. And here we are using every tick based on real ticks from the 8cap broker. And here the win rate was 98.61% with only 3 losing trades over the entire period. I do think that they may perhaps be including those losing trades in order to give the illusion that it's a more honest system. However, it's really the bare minimum of losers. To demonstrate something interesting about this system, I wanted to first calculate what the risk reward is. So as you can see, the average profit trade is around 1,113, whereas the average loss trade is 7,668. So if we do a quick division there, we can see that it's roughly a 1-to-7 inverse risk reward system. And what we can do is we can actually take these two numbers and plug them in a risk reward calculator to get the break-even win rate. So this shows that if we were using this in a true honest system with this magnitude of risk reward, we would expect our break-even rate to be around 87.33. And typically, in just through the property of randomness and random series, you always converge towards break even. So even if we just had a completely random system and we took this ratio of take profit to stop loss, we would expect our win rate to be around, or our break even win rate to be around 87.33%. And that would typically mean that if we had a good viable trading system that had this ratio, we would expect to see some degree of edge over 87.33%. However, the amount of edge over 87.33% would be maybe a few percentage points, right? Here, we're seeing an 11% increase over what the break-even win rate is. That is a almost unrealistic amount of edge, right? That is exceptional. It seems almost impossible. And if you, or in this case, it does seem impossible. And if you combine that degree of edge with an apparent lack of strategy or any sort of indication, that seems very, very fishy. It appears to be a history reader, and it's simply cheating. Something else which I wanted to test was going through the journal. Here, as I mentioned earlier, I was specifically not going to give it access to the ChatGPT API. So in doing so, in theory, it should not be able to access the ChatGPT API because the terminal will not allow web requests to it. But as you can see, the expert advisor is printing out all of these signals from the GPT. So here it's claiming that the GPT is working as expected. However, it can not feasibly actually access the API. So if we combined the statistics, which are completely impossible, with the fact that it's claiming to be based on AI, it's saying it's using AI, but it should not have access to the API in this particular test, this is very much a blatant scam. It's quite obvious with the information we saw in the signal previously that they are manipulating the signals using a basket of signals and a recovery factor to essentially not, like, they're only having so long of a back test or a forward test with live signals because they're using that recovery mechanism of multiplying the lot size. So they're both manipulating their live signals and they're showing fake back tests based on history reading. So this is very much a scam. It's a smart scam, and there's a reason why they're making $100,000 a month. They're not stupid, but this is a very, very dangerous system, and I would strongly recommend that you do not look into this. So there's plenty of good expert advisors out there. I encourage you to keep up your search for expert advisors, and please stick around for the next short clip where we will actually share a free excellent expert advisor with you. Take care and leave me a comment to know how you found this video. Bye. Before you click away, if you're looking to get a real expert advisor, here at Prosperity Algo Solutions, we're currently offering our golden time bomb system based on automating the London breakout and opening range breakout 100% for free. Watch the pinned video to find out more and to get access.